nearly 5,000 ANC councillors right next to our offices at Johannesburg's FNP Stadium and delivered a rather chilling ultimatum. He said, and I quote, "Without you doing anything, we are dead. We might as well pack up." It was a rare moment of candor from the president, acknowledging not only corruption and failing municipalities, but even conceding that DA ran metros often outperform ANC led ones. With municipal debt now sitting at over 130 billion and service delivery collapsing across the country, the stakes couldn't be any higher. But is this really the turning point for the ANC? Ramaphosa promised, or just another round of tough talks as the ANC kind of limps towards the 2026 local government elections, and they're trying to shake up, they're trying to realign, it's going to be an interesting one, and we'll dive right into it by Professor Sam Koma. He's a political analyst and governance expert, and one of the voices that we always call upon when such developments arise. Prof, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. President Ramaphosa's words, to the over 5,000 councillors saying, if you don't do anything, this could be the end of the ANC. We could potentially die. Do you see this moment as, a genuine reckoning for the ANC, or just political rallying cry ahead of 2026? What do you make of that, meeting of ANC councillors yesterday here in Johannesburg?
Yes, so the ANC must learn to walk the talk. So it is not the first time that, for example, the ANC will apologize to the nation for its misrule of the country. If we cast our minds back, we know that in 2022, when the president, that is President Ramaphosa, received the state capture report from Raymond Zondo, who chaired the commission, he said this represented the end of state capture. But just this year alone, in July, the provincial commissioner in KZN, that is General Mkhwanazi, went public to expose the capture of the criminal justice system. So you have an ANC leadership that appears to be bold and decisive, yet it does not have a track record of having to manage to root out corruption, for example, within its own ranks, and also by extension, state institutions. To date, we know that majority of ANC-run municipalities or councils are owing water boards, they are owing ESCOM, they are engulfed by malfeasance, maladministration, corruption. You have the president who has since actioned close to 30 SIU proclamations just on municipalities, and that tells you the extent and the magnitude of this governance challenges facing the state institutions, including the municipalities that are run by the ANC.
No, most definitely. I want to focus on something which, was alarming for many. The fact that President Cyril Ramaphosa acknowledged the fact that DA-ran municipalities are among some of the best performers. That's unusually honest, especially for a party which, they are in the GNU right now, but for the large part, they are a fierce opposition. How damaging could that admission for the ANC and councillors realistically turn things around? Do you think they keep that in mind? Is something that constantly crosses their mind, that where the DA runs things for the most part, things work?
Yes, Silalo. So the president is basically saying to the ANC leadership and also its deployees in municipalities to say it's high time we have a sense of shame. We have been running these municipalities for over 20 years, but we have nothing to show for it. You have this sporadic service delivery protests taking place. You have these AG reports year in and year out, flagging a whole range of issues related to accountability, regressions, and also the poor management of resources, and also the appointment of people who are not competent and qualified to hold this crucial municipal post at the executive level, and by extension, including the political office bearer. So he's saying, let's learn best practices coming out of this DA-run municipalities. And by the way, it's not the first time this has been said. We have also consistently raised a similar issue to say municipalities across the board, they need to share best practices and also expertise where, of course, that is obtaining. And if you look at the HA reports, that is a classic indicator that where you have these municipalities run by the DA, to a large extent, they seem to be getting it right around this issue of delivering positive audit outcomes. So he's making a clear call to say it's high time we rise to the occasion, and of course take these responsibilities very serious, as of course that has been informed by the electoral mandate that the ANC has been receiving.
Prof, I'm pretty sure you were watching the proceedings yourself. What did you make of the body language of the ANC councillors themselves? There's one moment that stood out for me. I think it was when Kwede Mantashe, stood forward, while they were singing, and he said, you guys sing very well, but we lack capacity tololo. And it almost felt like, the mood went down. The people were not as motivated, as rallied up, and as excited as you'd want them to leave those proceedings as, being ready to serve the people. What did you make of the different speeches and how the councillors reacted to them?
Yes, the chairperson of the ANC, or chairman, Mr. Kwede Mantashe, was correct, of course, to call them to order for the display of their behavior. But remember, that has always been what has characterized many municipal councils that, of course, under the governance and control of the ANC, just looking at how they handle themselves in council meetings. Most of these proceedings have come to the public eye, and we know in a majority of cases there seem to be disorderly behavior at that level. But we cannot falter the councillors of the ANC, because we have been saying these councils, they need to be run by individuals who are fit for purpose, who have the requisite knowledge, skills, and to some extent competencies, because council work is technical in nature. But they ignored this course we've been making, and also proceeded to deploy people who do not have what it takes to lead, for example, at council level, let alone at the administrative level, through, for example, having a mayor, and also having the MMCs, where you have the Emerald Executive System. So what we saw yesterday, in fact, is a true reflection of how the ANC councillors behave, but also how they got into the system through deployment by the ANC. So the ANC should not be ashamed of the behavior of these ANC councillors, of course, in the public domain, because, as I said, it is crucial that the ANC fixes its own system, how it arrives at the deployment of its cadres to run these municipalities in future.
You touched briefly on this, the fact that municipal debt is now over 130 billion. Municipalities owe Eskom, they owe Rand Water, and multiple service providers. Service delivery across the board is teetering on collapse. This gathering in itself is happening just a few days after we saw those protests in the south of Joburg, the suburbs there, where there were water protests in Tembisa also. Things got really, really messy. People saying we don't have water. There are task teams which have been put in place. One that comes to mind is that bomb squad in the Joburg Metro. Do you think the ANC has the capacity to fix local government, or it has reached a point of no return? Do you see them recalibrate? Do you see them realigning to a point where they can win back metros? They can govern them in large, numbers, and not these little coalition deals that we see happening so often. Are we ever going to get back to that point?
Yes, I don't see any quick turnaround around the performance of many of these municipalities, including the metro. So it's just too late for the ANC run councils or municipalities to register, record any quick win, especially around the provision of uninterrupted basic services in the main water, sanitation, and also electricity, because these are the basic municipal services that the residents are entitled to receive. And as you have rightly pointed out in your intro, increasingly, you now have this protest taking place throughout the country, and the issue is around it. There is disconnection of these municipal services by these municipalities without even notifying, without even engaging with these residents to say, here's the situation, let's find a middle ground as to how best to resolve this particular challenge facing the municipality, including the residents. So we'll continue to see this sporadic protest because of failure on the part of municipalities to engage in meaningful dialogue and also have open communication with the affected residents.
I want to wrap up with just your quick analysis as we head over to the 2026 local government elections. I know it's a few months away, a whole year. Just looking at some of the front runners, specifically the ANC always in the conversation, the Democratic Alliance, the likes of Action SA. What do you make of how all of the parties, their state of function at this point, and ultimately where they could potentially be in 2026? There are reports of especially in the city of Johannesburg, where the DA is throwing in a Helen Zille's name into the hat potentially. Just your quick analysis on the current state of affairs between the Democratic Alliance, the ANC, and some of these other parties that make up the ecosystem of local government here in South Africa.
Yes, Larry. So our electoral trajectory as a country points to a coalition reality. So come 2026 local government elections, we are likely to still be sitting with coalition arrangements, maybe different from the current setup. So if you take the metros in Gauteng in particular, my guess is that we'll have coalition arrangements. Whether these coalition arrangements will be ANC dominant or DA dominant, that remains to be seen. But you'll have your Action SA still playing a crucial role, your Patriotic Alliance, your Build One South Africa, for example, your Rise Mzansi coming to the fore, and also crucially, of course, you still have the EFF and the other parties still being the main players in most of these coalition arrangements. And I think we are likely to see the same outcome in many parts of the country with these coalition arrangements, because the 2021 local government elections have already yielded about 77 hung councils. So it's a bigger number, and I think that will increase come the 2026 local government elections in parts of, for example, Mpumalanga, your Limpopo, and also KZN and other parts of the provinces.
Well, they have it. Professor Koma, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for those insights, and we hope we chat again soon.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks.
There you go. That was Professor Sam Koma, political analyst and governance expert, weighing in on President Cyril Ramaphosa's warning to ANC councillors, a warning that survival depends on service delivery. You can do everything else, but ultimately South Africans care about bread and butter issues. They care about whether, the roads are tarred, the street lights are working, electricity is constant in their homes, infrastructure is being taken care of, and there's water from the tabs. That's easy as it is. The other stuff, the international relations stuff, the big economic decisions that are being taken, I think that comes after. We all care about things that affect us on a daily basis, and I think that's one of the reasons why you'd see in places or communities where you think a party like the Democratic Alliance would not do well because of their stance on Palestine, ultimately does well. You have people saying, Muslims are voting for the same DA that is, in bed with the Zionists, and it's not condemning the genocide in Gaza, but it's because of, for the large part, for the most part, we see it in real time where the ANC is, where the DA is governing, they seem to get the job done. Their councillors are always on speed dial. They can get access to them. The roads are being taken care of. Water is in supply. If it isn't, the councillors are communicating and are getting things, fixed. We're talking with, the producer of the show, my colleague Nasri Naidu, that she doesn't even know who her councillor is, and the council is under the ANC. So it's things like that we get gobsmacked when we do analysis, where people protest. No, the DA, we shouldn't even be looking at them. They're not condemning the genocide in Gaza. The whole conversation about Ukraine and how they've dealt with that, and them being against the BEE laws. Ultimately, you want to see water coming out of your tap. You want to see the street lamps on when it's 6 p.m. You want to see the potholes being filled. You wanna know who's in council. You wanna have a working community WhatsApp group with your councillor always giving you updates. And unfortunately or fortunately, the DA seems to be doing that. And then we get surprised when local government elections comes, and in neighborhoods that you'd expect the DA to do dismally, to do really, really bad, you found they're doing well. They're cruising. So I think, I don't know, 30 years on, does the ANC still need that wake up call to be told that, hey, for people to vote for you, it's it's not about radical economic transformation and all of these big words and the jargon that, let's be honest, for the most part, the normal men and women on the street in South Africa doesn't care about. Yeah, in the long run, you have these high cerebral conversations about the economy and the trajectory of the economy and BE laws and the Bella Bill and this and that. Let's be honest. Ultimately, most of us don't care about that. We care about things. Well, at least we primarily don't care. We primarily care about the bread and butter issues. And the ANC is unfortunately failing dismally on that perspective. So yeah, it'll be really, really interesting to see the local government elections and how they pan out. And if this conversation, from the president, this warning could prove to be a turning point, because I think the president described, or just more rhetoric ahead of the 2026 elections, that it could ultimately be the end of the ANC. They might as well pack up their stuff and chuck out, because they're not taking care of the primary things and things that people care about. I want to engage with you. You can give us a call, 01168000355 or 06176600355, and we can talk about what matters to you leading up to the local government elections. Do you care about the stance of the Democrat? And this is honest opinion. This is us just being real, because yeah, we can have sentimental views, but at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. In suburbs or areas where, let's be honest, you have a high Muslim population, for instance, people that are very, very passionate for the Palestinian cause. We saw last year in the elections, parties like the Patriotic Alliance did very, very well. The DA did very, very well in some of these regions where you'd expect them to do really badly because of their stance on Palestine. Patriotic Alliance, unequivocal. They'll tell you support Israel. But you go to the Muslim colored and Indian areas, they they have majority councils there. The DA, same thing. Some parts of Cape Town, here in Johannesburg, you'd expect them to do really, really bad, but they're not. So my question to you is, do you really care primarily, not, the sentimental stuff, but primarily what affects you, your kids, your family? Is the basics more important than probably the more high cerebral conversations and stance that political parties take? Do you care more about a party's international relations stance, how they respond and view the genocide in Gaza? Or do you care mostly about whether or not in your region where you stay, the things that affect you directly on a day-to-day basis, they're able to deliver on that front? WhatsApp line 0617660355. Can send us a voice note, or you can give us a call on 0116800355. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues.